With plays like The Weir, The Seafarer, and Shining City, Conor McPherson is often called the king of ghost stories. But now he's trying something different. He wrote and directed Girl from the North Country, a new musical featuring the songs of Bob Dylan. The Irish playwright conjured a story that takes place in Duluth, Minnesota during the Great Depression. We sat down with him in the basement of the Belasco Theater to find out more. So it's really wonderful that we're at the Belasco Theater because your work has been touched by the supernatural here and there. And this is the haunted Broadway house. Did you know that?
I've heard it's haunted, yes. And we got to go up to the apartment at the top of this theatre where Mr. Belasco used to live. It's really spooky up there. It's really big and derelict.
All right, let's talk about Girl from the North Country. Tell me about the origin of this piece.
I just had this idea of a play set in a boarding house in Minnesota in the 1930s. I don't know why, but I kind of thought if you had a Eugene O'Neill kind of feeling, that perhaps Bob's music could sit well into the 1930s. So I just wrote down a couple of pages and we sent it off, and a few days later we got a message back to say that Bob Dylan really liked that idea and wanted me to proceed. As soon as he said that, he just gave us total freedom to use any of his songs. So they sent all of his albums to my house. So there was like 50 albums. The way that I did it was, if I liked a song, I thought, well, I'll put that in, and that was it, you know.
Here comes the story of the hurricane. The many authorities came to blame.
And then how did you get to work on all these characters?
A lot of the time when you're writing a play, it's kind of unconscious, really. I mean, I think there's a sort of a spine or a framework of the play of a kind of nativity kind of story, the nativity, you know, and it felt like in some way that was kind of the structure of the story. And then Bob's songs are like hymns. It's kind of like a kind of biblical story in a funny way, I suppose.
And in rearranging the music, there's a lot of choral work which actually fits in with that.
Yes, that felt really important. When I got together with Simon Hale, our musical arranger, we were talking about what was this sound like. Now he was very strict about, you know, if it's set in the 1930s, we should only have instruments from the 1930s, which is great. I've always been interested in music and I play the guitar. I think what's happening is it's like you're watching a story and then the characters, they sing a Bob Dylan song and his lyrics are always so suggestive and universal and kind of coming from the unconscious. In a way, you're being drawn into the inner life of the character, and it's almost like their inner life is dreamlike in a funny way. So it feels like you're getting to know the character's inner soul. So it deepens it rather than moves it forward.
So when they're singing, they're not necessarily singing to someone. They're always kind of solitary in a way.
Yeah, it never really feels like they're singing to someone else in the show. No, oh yeah, and they're all singing together. But sometimes they say, where should we be looking? And I always say, you should be looking about here.
As the director?
Yeah, I'm like, you should be about here.
Where the microphone is.
Kind of a microphone, or even more just kind of here. You know what I mean? So you sort of, it's kind of inner, but quite concentrated. Also, you can be out then too, but it's like you're looking more just into your own thing rather than the audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
1,000-yard stare.
All you gotta do is wait, and I'll tell you where.
Your work is very imagistic. You're a storyteller. You're known for having a lot of really evocative images in your work, and I think Bob Dylan's very similar. Did you feel some camaraderie with him because of that?
Well, I think probably I feel that he's an unconscious kind of artist. I think that he seems to describe his work as kind of comes through him or comes to him in some kind of like the muse just comes and he just goes with it, you know, rather than it being a conscious thing of sitting down to write a song about something. I think I'm similar in the sense that I don't really choose what I would get an idea for. I don't think of a subject and then decide to write about it. It's just something either comes to you or it doesn't. When
a popular song comes out, you have that recognition in the audience. Were you careful with the ones that are very well known?
Well, I think the one you wanted to be careful with is Like a Rolling Stone, which is, you know, probably the Bob Dylan song, you know, par excellence that everybody knows. What we have to do with this show is always we try and suit the song around the singer. So like in this production, Mare Winningham is singing that song.
Like a rolling stone.
Mare is in that kind of more folk, trad, country tradition. She's not like got a rock kind of thing going on. So you want to pull the song towards where she's comfortable. So that's kind of how we would approach it, rather than you know, worry about are we presenting the song as Bob Dylan or fans would like it. In a way, that's we can't think about that.
How has it changed your writing moving on? What have you learned?
Well, I suppose before doing this, I think if someone said to me the character suddenly starts singing, I would have been like, no, that makes me feel sick. But now it's like, you go, oh, anybody can do anything in a show, and actually the audience sort of want them to. It
gives the piece some breathing room. It feels like when they sing, everyone sort of exhales when that happens. Is that on purpose from your point of view?
Theatre performances evolved out of religious ceremonies, right? And I think that probably singing was part of that from the very get-go, thousands of years ago. So it feels very natural and normal. It just feels like it takes you both deeper into yourself and kind of higher in a kind of transcendence all at the same time. It's like everybody goes into a kind of communal trance, and music really helps you get there. And actually it's almost like a great shortcut, because normally as a playwright, you know, you're trying all the time to reach these moments that feel sort of deep and moving and stirring and, you know, different and so forth. But then when you suddenly realize, oh, actually we can just have music, that really, you know, fast forwards that feeling. So it feels like you've been a mountaineer laboring at very high altitudes, and suddenly someone says, you want some oxygen? You know, where's this been? You know, you had oxygen tanks? So who knows? So I think maybe we'll have more songs going forward in my plays.